usually it's whoever you listen to as a kid should be in the Rock Hall. Who were your early influences? What was who was the talent or the radio station that made you get excited about music? How old
It
were you?
was, yeah, I mean, it was WLIR. That's where I grew up on Long Island. That was the station I grew up listening to. That was the station that was responsible for, in my formative years, as a teenager, and then later when I got to college, it was just a great radio station. I discovered this thing called FM, and I remember early on, and it was WLIR that played. I think it was like "Thick as a Brick" by Jethro Tull. And if you know that album, it's one song broken up into two sides. And when they played all of side one of "Thick as a Brick" and described that as there's the new song from Jethro Tull, which is 20 minutes in length, I was like, what? What is this FM thing?
That's a
Uh,
bathroom break, or
yeah.
maybe time to smoke out break or something.
Yeah, so that was sort of an early memory. But
Yeah.
LIR before it became the station that dared to be different in around 1981 or so. It was still an amazing station that played everything from a Pat Metheny record, a jazz record, to the Sex Pistols, and they just it was a station that was staffed by a lot of people who were very passionate about music, and they didn't care where that music came from, and somehow they made it all work.
That's
Yes.
really why we're
Okay.
doing this with K Rock in Los Angeles. It was the same kind of thing, that the music you hear, which now that we're getting to revisit it all, from those years, from each year of the '80s, you realize there are songs that were played that we just thought, either we didn't remember or we thought, wow, how did that fit? But it did.
Yeah.
Well, Rick Carroll really had a vision, and
Yeah.
I think in those early '80s there were two stations that you guys, you're probably aware of this. It was KROQ on the West Coast, and it was WLIR on the
Yeah.
East Coast. And I think we were fans of each other to a degree. I know my old, cohort, Larry the Duck, um, was influenced by Jed the Fish. That's how he came up with his name, basically. We used to trade cassette tapes and air checks of the station, and were somewhat inspired by, what was great about KROQ to me was their staff was so irreverent, and it was so completely obvious that they were just having fun, and it seemed completely unbridled, although, it wasn't, but it was to a degree.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't as formatted as station as radio, became in those formative '80s years, but definitely